Student Center alongside Ben Rohr. I'm Jacob Irons. They put 2 Ramblers on the desk here, Ben.
Yeah, I think they're aware that it was Day of Man this past week, trying to raise a little money for the homeless here in South Bend. But I think they're also aware of just how electric that can be when a couple of Ramblers team up for a big week in sports and, you know, just life here for America. And on campus, softball gets us started with 2 quick losses to Morgan State and Kentucky today.
Yep.
Blue Gold game announced for April 12th. There's some headlines here, and then, of course, the big game for everyone on Sunday.
Yeah,
big headlines.
The big game, but there's also another game on Sunday. That's women's basketball against Cal. But let's get you caught up on what happened last night in Purcell Pavilion between Notre Dame and Stanford. The first time those 2 teams were meeting as ACC foes. Let's get you a look at the highlights. We start in the opening seconds of the contest. Hannah Hidalgo goes for a pass from Olivia Miles to start things off. It's early in the contest. Miles steps over for a 3. Watch this move. Whoop! Gets the 3, hits it, nails. Will be a hot night for the juniors. 6 minutes left in the first. Irish up 4. Clardy would shoot over Hidalgo to go for the 3 that she makes. Stanford within 1. That would be the closest the game would ever get. 2:43 left in the first. ND up 11. Kate Cahill at the elbow sees the sliding Citron. She kneels in and takes the contact to finish the bunny. We move to the second where Endy would put the medal to the medal here. 6:13 to go in the half. Fighting Irish up big. Miles calls for the screen from Maddie Westbeld. She'll come up, provide a little coverage. Woo! Big baller shot from Olivia Miles from deep. That rattles home Notre Dame up 18. 4:30 in the second. Notre Dame still pouring it on. Miles sends Bosgina into a spin cycle, steps back and gets the 3 to go. Irish would open the night for Miles on a 4-for-4 from beyond the arc. ND would end the first half on a 26-2 run, leading 50-15 at the half. ND doing what ND does best here, defense to offense. Citron finds Hidalgo, takes the contact, and 1. Now, ND with 2:15 left to go. They're up 46. Miles gives it to Cahill, hits the B button, and finishes it off. Notre Dame wins 96-47. It's the largest loss in Stanford's history, the 8th largest margin of victory for the Fighting Irish. So let's take a look at the box score. It was a star-studded stat night for Notre Dame athletics. They shoot 55% from the field, while on the other side for the Cardinal, they give up 29 turnovers. They had 20 in the first 2 quarters alone. They ratted it up a little bit late into the game, but one of those games you're not going to want to look at if you're Stanford and Coach Pay moving up. And someone that is going to want to look at it is Trey Cotey, our women's basketball insider, who is now standing by with Ben Rohr.
Thank you, Jake. Great read there, and a great job by the Irish last night. A really big win, Trey. I mean, what are the takeaways from that kind of game?
Yeah, well, fantastic to be here, Jake. Thank you for that lovely voicing the highlights. Ben and I were having a good time over here. We can take something out of this. I mean, you win 96-47. You're feeling pretty good about yourself, but this is a Stanford team that is not the same Stanford of old. New coach, 11-11 on the year. They're just not what they used to be, and there's a lot of takeaways you can take away from Notre Dame's perspective, just in general, right? And earlier in the year, we were talking a lot. This team got some very big wins over UConn, USC, Texas, all top 10 opponents still are. Oh, yeah. And you were thinking, wait a minute, Notre Dame doesn't even have some of their best players. Where's Maddie Westbeld? Where's Liza Carlin? And now you get to the team, and they're almost at full strength. And what's really exciting is obviously Hidalgo and Miles averaging over 40 points a game collectively, 10 assists, 5 steals, 11 rebounds, both shooting incredible percentages. They're going to get theirs. What's really exciting is kind of the second level after that. And there's Westbeld, there's Prosper, there's King, there's Carlin, there's Citron, and it's kind of death by 1,000 cuts. Every game, one of them's going to have maybe 8, one of them's going to have 6, one of them might get up to 12. And the exciting thing is that any time any of them could burst and have a great game. In this one last night, Westbeld and Prosper both with 13. Carlin had a bit of a down game, but then you could look against Virginia Tech where she had a dozen. It can be anyone on any given night, and that's really exciting going forward for this Irish basketball team.
Yeah, I mean, just a murderer's row of hot hands there, Trey. Now that the team is gelling and everyone's back, I mean, can this team go undefeated in ACC play? Who stops them?
The question is not undefeated in ACC play. The question is undefeated for the rest of the season in general. I genuinely think they're the best team in the country and still undefeated on American soil. Only 2 losses coming from that trip to the Cayman Islands. 20-2 on the season. Let's look a little bit at the rest of the ACC play. You got 7 games, 5 of them against quality opponents, as you can see the rest of the schedule there, 4 of them coming against ranked opponents. And I'm looking at 3 of those games in particular that I think might be somewhat challenging. The first is this coming Sunday at home against Cal. Cal's a bit of a perplexing team. They lost by 34 to Duke earlier this year, coming off a loss at Louisville the other night. But then they have wins against very good teams such as Florida State and NC State as well. The next game that intrigues me is that Duke game. That might be a top 10 matchup. Given Duke's current ranking, there's a couple of games before that. Duke doesn't play great against the good teams. They lost in overtime to UNC, lost to NC State, and they play really good team defense. I think the Irish match up very well there with guard play because Duke relies heavily on the guards on the offensive end. We have some of the best defensive guards in the country and can also move the ball to a variety of options and score basically at will. And then that last game, that really, it's kind of the only one. Duke and Cal, whatever, I think we get past those. With NC State, that's on the road. That's our only tough game on the road going forward on the 23rd of February. NC State, some big wins earlier this year. They're ranked 2nd in the ACC right now, only 1 game behind the Irish. The winner of that game will probably win the regular season in the ACC. If the Irish can get through all 3 of those, it should be smooth sailing the rest of the way. And looking forward to what this team can do in March, Ben.
Yeah, really exciting. As Chris Daly said last week, looking like a 11-headed monster here for the Irish.
It feels like it.
Should be very, very exciting to see what they do coming down the road. But now we turn to the hockey team, who has a big, big series coming into town this weekend. Jake, what do we got?
Hey, thanks so much, Ben. You talk about a really interesting season for Notre Dame women's basketball. It's been a little bit of a letdown season for Notre Dame hockey so far this year. And if we talk hockey, we can only talk to one man, and that is the voice of Notre Dame hockey, Tyler Reedy, who is standing by with us from Compton. Tyler, we thank you so much for joining us here today in what ultimately should be an interesting season and how they get going against Ohio State, one of those more interesting contents in between the national championship in Atlanta all the way coming back here to Compton. The tensions will be high. You'll have to imagine between the two of them that something is going to happen between the two sides, especially in this moment with how Notre Dame is looking to respond at this moment. And Tyler, we thank you so much for joining us. Got a great view here in front of Compton Family Ice Arena. So, T-Reed, what does Notre Dame need to do this weekend against OSU?
Yeah, great to be with you. Glad we can make this work here today. As you might be able to see behind me, they're making some preparations for the rink right now ahead of the first of 2 expected sellout crowds this weekend. Should be a great one. And to start just with some housekeeping items for the Fighting Irish, Michael Mastrodomenico, the junior defenseman, will miss a 5th consecutive game on the blue line, so expect big minutes again for the freshman Jimmy Jursev on that 3rd pairing, and Owen Say, the junior netminder with a .920 save percentage, who's been Notre Dame's hot hand in the last 2 series against top 10 opponents, will make the starting goal. But for Notre Dame this weekend, we're looking ahead to hope that the Irish can get on a little bit of a run here. We've been waiting to see, now that they're healthy for about a month or so, when things are finally going to start to click. And I'll talk about it more with your second question, but I think the number one thing you have to look at this weekend is special teams. Notre Dame's power play has not been great as of late. It's a power play unit that's been inside the top echelon of the Big Ten for really the entire season, clicking at just over 23%. However, they're just 3 for 27 in their last 11 games, and during that stretch, that's by far the worst percentage inside of the Big Ten. But Ohio State, on the other side, has the worst penalty kill in college hockey since the new year began, going back to the start of January. So it's an opportunity here maybe for the Irish to get right on the power play. They only needed 3 seconds to score on the power play in their last game against Lindenwood 2 weeks ago. So I'm looking at players like Cole Knuble with a career-long 6-game point streak, Danny Nelson, who scored both times against Ohio State in the December series in Columbus, and of course your guy Justin Janicki, who scored that quick lightning-fashion power play goal against Lindenwood.
I was going to say, you got to mention Justin Janicki for me here if you want to have him be included in that conversation for who needs to take that next step forward. And when you look at this season, this is Jeff Jackson's last year. Win 600, you can see it. It is on the horizon. What does Notre Dame need to do in this last month to allow themselves that opportunity to allow him to see that 6-0-0?
Yeah, he's at 598 right now, and unfortunately with the top 10 splits against Michigan and Minnesota in January, they've given him a chance to reach that marker. Notre Dame just needs to win 2 of the last 8 regular season games, or maybe take one in the postseason as well to get them there. So that's looking good right now. But you talk about what Notre Dame needs to do over this final home stretch, final 4 weeks of the regular season, back to back to back to back series. You throw points out the window. The Big Ten standings, you can't really worry about that anymore. Notre Dame's currently 7th right now. They're either going to finish 6th or 7th, likely depending on the result at Penn State, the current 6th place team coming up next week in State College. So Notre Dame needs to try and improve on what's kind of bogged them down over the last month. They've had some really great showings. The shootout win at Wrigley Field on January 3rd. They followed that up, however, with back-to-back home losses. Then the 7-4 win against Michigan with the Justin Janicki hat trick. Followed that up, giving up 5 goals in the series opener at Minnesota in period number 1. Then you beat Minnesota in overtime, but come back home and lose to Lindenwood on home ice. So Notre Dame won its last game against Lindenwood 2 Saturdays ago, and what they need to look for in these final 4 weeks is being able to put together 120 minutes, a full weekend of high-quality hockey. That hasn't happened over the past month or so. They've shown signs of breaking out, but extending it across the full series will give Notre Dame a chance to really take advantage of the only potential route it has to the NCAA tournament, which is winning the Big Ten postseason tourney.
Yeah, that is going to be a steep hill for them to climb. You can catch Tyler Reedy on the Notre Dame Radio Network today and tomorrow. T-Reed, thank you so much for joining us. Go get back to that prep. Enjoy a little bit more of a quiet Compton before the fans start filing in. We really do appreciate it. And staying within the netted sports world, we go now to women's lacrosse. Ben Rohr is with Noah Cahill.
Yeah, thank you, Jake. Turning from sticks of hockey to sticks of lacrosse, the women's lacrosse team has their opener tonight at Northwestern. Huge game. Here with Noah Cahill. Thank you for being here. Noah, what are we expecting out of this season?
Thanks, Ben. Yeah, it is a big game to start us off, as Notre Dame tonight will look to hold off a Northwestern team that is seeking revenge after Notre Dame upset them last season to take their first ever #1 ranking in program history. Last year, Notre Dame didn't just have the best men's lacrosse team in the country, but for most of the season, they had the best women's team as well. Head coach Christine Halfpenny in her 14th year led the team to a program best 16-2 record, or 16-4 record rather, 7-2 in the ACC, 3 top 10 wins. As we said, that first #1 ranking, and were able to host the first 2 rounds of the NCAA tournament. However, their product season did have a tragic ending. They lost to rivals Michigan on a last-second goal. But this season, they come in losing 17 graduating players and are still ranked 13th nationally. Among those departures, the legendary attacking trio of Jackie Wolak, Madison Ahern, and Casey Choma, who combined for 964 points across their 5 seasons, are going to leave. However, they bring back a core of players, including Catherine Morrissey, a sophomore midfielder who led the team in points last year among all freshmen. She's joined in the midfield by Fanny O'Brien and Megan O'Hare. Senior Grace Wygand is a Tewaaraton finalist preseason, and junior Abigail Lyons will be back to anchor defensively. And these 5 really form the core of returning players that Halfpenny's going to lean on to provide that needed leadership and continuity when it comes to competing with the nation's best this season.
Yeah, you mentioned that core 5. Is it someone from that 5 or someone, one of those red shirts, someone from outside of it that is going to need to have a breakout year to put the Irish back on that top level?
I do think that beyond the core, especially because only one of those returning players is a senior and only one is a graduate student, you're looking at needing to pull from that class of 11 freshmen, incoming freshmen, as well as returning redshirts. Among the freshmen, though, Madison Rosas is a name to look out for. A premier recruit who comes from a long line of Notre Dame graduates, including her father, who was an All-American player at Notre Dame on the lacrosse team. She is somebody to look for to provide an offensive spark, as will Kristen Shanahan, who, even though, she was 25 goals in the 2023 Elite 8 run 2 seasons prior, but was out all of last year with a season-ending injury. She, too, will be leaned on in the offense among that returning group. And all that talent will really be put to the test right away.
Yeah, very interesting. Exciting to see what they do. Big one tonight at Northwestern to open it up. Thank you so much for being here, Noah. Now we turn to the pro world. Myself, Mr. Irons, had a chance earlier this week on Wednesday to go out into the people and see who they have in the big game this Sunday. Let's take a look.
Hi guys, I'm Jake Irons.
I'm Ben Rohr.
And we are not out here soliciting for money on this day of man, this beautiful Wednesday, and it's freaking freezing outside, but we are actually asking who is going to win in New Orleans on Sunday. Are you ready to go?
The big game.
The big game. You ready to go?
Oh my God, I'm so ready.
Let's go get inside. Let's go. Come on, come on. Dominic, who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl on Sunday?
I hope the Eagles win, so let's go Eagles.
Go Birds. Let's go.
Joe, who you got in the Super Bowl on Sunday? Eagles, Chiefs, what do we think?
I'm going Eagles.
Go Birds.
Hi, I'm here with Maggie. Maggie, I know you're from Missouri. Who you got?
I'm gonna root for the Eagles because
How dare you?
I think someone else needs a shot, and the Chiefs have already done it twice.
A Missourian resident. Doesn't even believe. Doesn't even believe. All right, let's keep.
And Travis Kelce has a really bad haircut right now.
Ooh, the hair. The hair. That's enough. That's enough, people.
All right, guys. Who's got the big game? Eagles, Chiefs, who we have?
Eagles,
Great pick.
Chiefs.
Wow. Wow, that's going to be a lot of tension there. Big debate coming on Sunday. Woo.
Full slew here in Duncan Student Center. Who is winning on Sunday?
The Eagles.
Eagles.
The Chiefs, and it's not even close.
Chiefs are not even close. I got 28-3. I'm with you, Ben.
I can't go against the odds. I got to say Chiefs, too.
All right, Chiefs on the odds. Here we go. Here we go. Wow, selling out. Are you a Steelers guy though?
A little bit.
Then he can't pick. He can't pick the Eagles. All right.
Go Lurs, go Lurs.
Okay, we've got a split. They're gonna have to split the buffalo chicken dip out here.
I don't have it.
Ben has just decided to stop.
Okay, I'll tell you.
With the beauty of technology, we might be able to hear what he's saying. I don't. Wow. Ben Rohr, everybody. Mr. Popular. Look, someone knows he's on video. One guy doesn't. Nice.
Who wins the Super Bowl?
Who wins the Super Bowl? Just please not Kansas, bro. It's Eagles, right? The other team? I hope it's Eagles then.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Turned it into an answer. Wow.
Hopefully the Philadelphia Eagles, but I didn't want either team to be there.
Good answer.
Eagles. Let's go.
Go Birds.
Eagles.
Awesome.
Go Birds.
4 for 4 for the Eagles.
Hey, we're with the editor-in-chief of the yearbook, a fellow second floor neighbor. Who's winning on Sunday?
The Birds.
Go Birds.
Who wins the Super Bowl on Sunday?
The Eagles? Are they playing? I have no idea.
The Eagles are playing. The Bills are the other team. Do you think they beat the Eagles?
Yes, 100%.
It is actually the Chiefs. Now that I've told you that, do you change your mind?
Who is winning the Super Bowl on Sunday?
Taylor Swift.
T-Swizzle. Never mind the Chiefs. Never mind the Eagles. T-Swizzle, big winner. What do we think? What's the score then?
1989, nothing.
I like it. Claire Ely, everybody. That's pretty solid.
What a fearless answer.
Well, it appears America's team is the Eagles this year, Ben.
Yeah, final score, a lot to a little today in favor of the Eagles.
The Eagles. Go Birds.
Yeah, not going to be the case during the game, though, I fear.
No, I don't think so either.
Go Birds, though.
Go Birds. It will be the Chiefs. Enjoy your buffalo chicken dip and a happy Super Bowl Sunday.
And happy day of man.
Happy day of man.
Cheers.
Yeah, a lot of fun out there hitting the streets. We changed into a little bit more formal attire now that we have to be on the desk.
Here.
Yeah, classy, like cut off arms. That can't happen. Maybe I should do a show though.
We'll see. We'll discuss it.
Okay, we'll discuss. We'll discuss. But if we're gonna ask everyone else their Super Bowl pick, I thought it was only right for us to give our Super Bowl picks. I'll add a total over to the Chiefs side. I think this is a Mahomes blowout. This is that game that he stamps on and says Mahomes is the next Tom Brady and is a legacy guy. He would be a go. It would be something we haven't seen in the NFL before to go at three-peat. Give me the Kansas City Chiefs, and this is where everyone raises the questions. Jake, what's the score? 28-3. I think the Eagles struggle on offense. I think Saquon Barkley. I'm trusting Andy Reid here. That is my big thing. I am trusting Andy Reid that he's going to be able to shut it down. And Steve Spagnuolo as well on the defensive side. I know you're going to differ.
Yeah, I'm going to go with America here. Give me the Eagles. Let's toss one on there and make it even less close in terms of, this might be considered the popular vote. But, I'm bringing my expert football knowledge to the table here saying I don't want the Chiefs to win. I am all for the Eagles. Go Birds. I think no one wants the three-peat. And this Eagles team is really good. There is a reason they are there. So, you know, I'll add one of the big number there.
And it's a big betting weekend as well. I'm going to get you started. Let's give you a prop bet. This is Jake's 2 cents. Give you tails. Give me tails. Wow. I think tails on the coin toss, that's the way to go. What do you got on a prop? I'm even less conventional on these prop bets. The Ringer has Tom Brady wearing a blue tie at plus 175. I love that bet. That's a great pick. Give me the blue tie for Brady. And finally, John Batiste, Grammy winner, performed here earlier this year. Yes. Did we know that? I went, great show. He's on the national anthem. Over under 120 and a half seconds. That is the easiest over of all time, ladies and gentlemen. That man loves himself a riff. He loves a run. He loves getting fun on the piano. We're looking well over 2 minutes there. I think you're making money with all three of those bets. Tails never fails. Blue tie for Brady. And over on the national anthem. We'll find out when we come back next Friday to see whether, if we bet the mortgage, whether we still have houses and college tuitions. Yeah, absolutely. So a lot to look for this weekend, this upcoming week on campus here for the Irish, but also sports world in general, one of the biggest weekends of the year. Thank you so much for joining us here on Shamrock Sports. For myself, Ben, Jake Irons, everyone here, Noah, Trey, whole cast and crew, thank you so much for joining us in the second floor of the Duncan Student Center. We will see you next week.